Not to mention Mr. Cabot put, pizza talk is the new pillow talk. Let's go through some of the books you have on your shelf, shall we? In the Name of the Children. An FBI agent's relentless pursuit of the nation's worst predators. So you know what pizza means, Cabot.
So did Charlie know that Cabot Phillips was Erika's ex-boyfriend when he was playing him one-on-one and he posted the picture that he won and he never gets tired of winning? Because tell me why Cabot is now an editor at the Daily Wire with Ben Shapiro.
Well, it also turns out that Cabot Phillips, from September 4th all the way through to September 10th until September 11th, took a vacation and he wasn't on his show.
How do you go from pizza talk is the new pillow talk to leaked footage that people swear changes the entire Erika Kirk timeline without anyone in her circle admitting they saw it coming? Because if this is all just internet reaching, then why do the dates, the resurfaced clips, and the sudden career overlaps keep lining up like they were cued months in advance? And that's where it gets messy. People keep circling back to the same weird breadcrumb. Cabot Phillips and the whole pizza thing. Not because pizza is some crime by itself, obviously, but because online commenters claim pizza can be coded language in certain conspiracy spaces, and that claim is heavily disputed and not proven in court. Yet it's the way Cabot allegedly leaned into it that spooked viewers. Pizza talk is the new pillow talk, he posted. And then people started freeze-framing his office and obsessing over what looks like interesting reading material on a bookshelf, like books about targeted operations, an FBI agent's relentless pursuit of the nation's worst predators, and other titles that the internet immediately tried to spin into something darker. Here's the part people miss. The bookshelf isn't proof of anything on its own, but it becomes gasoline when it lands next to everything else people are alleging.
I send him the picture of Cabot Phillips, and he says, yes, that's the person I remember being at the base.
Now slide that over to the relationship timeline everyone keeps arguing about. The core claim floating around is that new Erika Kirk and Cabot Phillips footage is making the rounds and seemingly confirms, at least to some viewers, that she was sneaking around with him behind Charlie's back. Alleged, not proven, and we're only describing what's being reported online. And the reason it hits so hard is because this is the same pizza tattoo guy that Erika allegedly picked to replace Charlie on tour days after Charlie's life was ended. That's the gut punch detail for a lot of people. Even if you ignore every rumor, why would you put your alleged ex in that spotlight at that moment? But then, people start stacking the older receipts on top of it, and the story stops being about one clip and starts looking like a long-running overlap. Because according to the claims in your outline, Erika allegedly lied about not dating anyone for 5 years before Charlie, and people say the receipts are out there, painting dates, comments from mutual friends, and even footage of Cabot hanging out with Erika's mom. The timeline being pushed is that Erika and Cabot were still dating in 2017, and yet the public story is that when Erika met Charlie in 2018, and she supposedly had no idea who he was. And that's the contradiction that keeps getting repeated. How do you not know who Charlie is if your boyfriend is allegedly in Charlie's orbit? Especially when people point to September 2017, Cabot playing one-on-one basketball with Charlie, posting that he won, never gets tired of winning. And at the exact same time, the outline claims Erika and Cabot were on a painting date. Coincidence?
We're here in West Palm Beach. We have 550 student leaders from 47 states all across the country, fired up, ready to go, ready to get training, ready to learn how to grow their chapter. We couldn't be more excited to kick off this conference.
But then the dots keep connecting. Interview. Because Cabot isn't just some guy in the background, at least not anymore. The outline says he's now an editor at the Daily Wire with Ben Shapiro, and people online treat that as a signal that he didn't just drift away, he leveled up. And then there's this oddly specific gap. From September 4th through September 10th, leading into September 11th, Cabot allegedly took a vacation and wasn't on his show. On its own, that could mean literally nothing. People take time off. But the internet doesn't look at things on their own, and that's the problem. They look at the absence, the resurfacing footage, and the sudden replacement on tour narrative, and they start whispering, was he off camera for a reason? And then, here's where it gets slippery, they pull older turning point footage into it like it's a missing puzzle piece. The outline says old turning point footage resurfaced from a 2016 winter retreat in West Palm Beach, and showing Charlie introducing a speaker lineup that included Cabot Phillips, who gave a speech about big government. And the reason people say this matters is simple. If Charlie didn't meet Erika until 2018, but Cabot is already in Charlie's world in 2016, and Erika and Cabot were allegedly together by then, or at least headed that direction in the broader timeline people are alleging, then it raises the question of how separate these worlds really were. But then, someone brings up an Instagram post allegedly shared by Erika's cousin Nicole Rothstein, with a dog meme captioned, Erika Francie's face when she walks into dinner expecting to see her wife and Cabot Phillips is there instead. And everyone goes, wait, wife? Who is that referring to? Is it a joke? Is it an inside nickname? Or is it hinting at a relationship people weren't supposed to clock yet?
Snake of the ticket line was a guy who looked very familiar. I had no idea who he was. And I told my mom, this guy looks so familiar. And as a typical mother, she said, go and say hi. No, we were late for our flight, and I'm not going to come off like a crazy person that's just weird. That ended up being Charlie. Nothing is by coincidence. Now, did we know that? No, not until we were like 3 months into our relationship and looking at timestamps, seeing that both of us were in Israel at the same time. But nothing is by coincidence.
And it doesn't stop at 2016. The outline pushes it even further back. Out to 2013, when Erika was reportedly living and working in China for mysterious reasons, and Cabot commented on her post, sick editing skills, love the word art. Again, that could be nothing. People comment, but the internet reads it like a breadcrumb trail, early contact, later dating, then proximity to Charlie's ecosystem before the official "we met" story ever begins. Meanwhile, Charlie is allegedly treating Cabot like one of his guys, bringing him to events, putting him in front of hundreds of student leaders, while, according to the claims, Cabot is quietly dating the woman Charlie would eventually marry. If that overlap is real, it creates a brutal question. Did Charlie know? Did he not know? Or did everyone around him know something he didn't? And that question is exactly why this story won't die. Now get this. The outline claims that on September 24th, 2025, 2 weeks after Charlie's life was ended, Cabot shared an old photo of him and Charlie on the basketball court and wrote about speaking at his first TPUSA campus event since Charlie's murder, saying it was fitting. He woke up to a Facebook memory from 8 years earlier. People zoom in on everything, including the jersey Cabot is wearing, and they point out it says Brigham Young, and they treat that as some kind of symbol. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But the bigger beat is the vibe. Cabot stepping back into the public TPUSA lane right after Charlie is gone, and then, boom, Erika, now in power, allegedly chooses him as the face of How to Lead Like Charlie tours. Here's the part people keep repeating. That's not random staffing. That feels like a narrative rewrite in real time.
So we know the bookshelf, right? The bookshelf, did y'all see the books? The Secret History of Israel's Targeted Assassinations. Rise and K first. Are you freaking kidding me? Not to mention Mr. Cabot put, pizza talk is the new pillow talk. You tweeted this in 2018, dude, and you know what pizza means. Let's go through some of the books you have on your shelf, shall we? In the Name of the Children. An FBI agent's relentless pursuit of the nation's worst predators. So you know what pizza means, Cabot. Hey, Cabot, check out cannibalism right here, Cabot. I mean, what? A perfectly natural history. Okay, Cabot. Hey, Cabot, how about this one right here? It's called Stiff. It's also on your bookshelf. The Curious Lives of Human Cadavers. Are you kidding me, Cabot?
And then the How Did She Not Know Him clip enters the chat again. According to your outline, Erika tells a story about being in a ticket line, seeing a guy who looked familiar, telling her mom, and her mom saying to go say hi, but she didn't because they were late and she didn't want to seem weird, and that guy ended up being Charlie. She also says they didn't realize they were in Israel at the same time until months into the relationship, and she adds, nothing is by coincidence. People latched onto that phrase like it's a confession, But to be clear, it's not evidence of wrongdoing. It's a line in a personal story. Still, when you place it next to the alleged 2017 overlap, Cabot playing Charlie in September 2017 and Erika allegedly on a painting date with Cabot in that same month, people ask the obvious question. If Cabot is close enough to Charlie to be posting about beating him, how does Erika later claim she had no idea who Charlie was at the moment they met? Now the script pivots into the most explosive part, because this is where online chatter leaves timeline drama and starts flirting with claims that could be totally baseless. Your outline says some insiders alleged Erika's infidelity, and then rumors escalated into claims that Charlie supposedly found out and started making moves to remove her from his will. Alleged, unconfirmed, not proven in court. Then some people take it further, and speculating Erika's marriage was a task, a mission tied to handlers who they claim are really running Turning Point behind the scenes. None of that is confirmed. It's the kind of claim that spreads fast because it's cinematic, not because it's verified. But then, like clockwork, a new angle appears that tries to turn whispers into a plot. Because the outline introduces Fort Wuka, described as a secret military meeting 2 days before Charlie's life was ended at UVU, where former Special Forces operative Mitch Snow allegedly claimed Erika and Cabot were seen, again, alleged, disputed, and not something we can treat as fact here. And then the internet does what it always does. It drags in the Epstein-class speculation, tying it to the pizza tweets, the lip tattoo chatter, and the bookshelf titles. This is where you have to be careful. Speculation about SX Trat ficking rings is serious, and repeating it as fact would be reckless. So the only honest way to frame it is this. People online are speculating, and they're using vibes and fragments to build a story that has not been proven in court. But even if you strip out the darkest claims entirely, the public optics problem remains. Why is Cabot positioned so close to the Charlie legacy messaging if he's also alleged to be Erika's ex? And then comes the angle that feels less mystery thriller and more power pipeline: Cabot's background. Bet your outline claims he didn't just appear in conservative media out of nowhere, that he inherited the keys to the door from his father, Tim Phillips. Tim Phillips, according to the outline, ran Americans for Prosperity from 2006 to 2021, and AFP is described as a Koch brothers-style operation and a powerful dark money political force, fueled by anonymous donations through legal loopholes. The outline also claims that before AFP, Tim Phillips was a DC strategist tangled up in the Jack Abramoff scandal, and that his firm got paid to create fake grassroots campaigns to influence legislation. Those are heavy claims as presented here. Without independently confirmed documentation in these inputs, we treat them as part of the narrative being discussed, not as established fact. But here's why this segment hits in a retention way. It reframes Cabot from random replacement guy into connected operator, at least in the eyes of people telling this story. And if that framing is what's driving the panic, it also explains the next alleged detail: that Cabot is scrubbing his Instagram timeline after his connection to Erika Kirk was exposed. Is that true? We don't have confirmation here. People delete posts for 1,000 reasons. But when the public believes there's a pattern, every normal act looks like a cover-up. And that's why this story keeps expanding. A tweet becomes a code. A bookshelf becomes a signal. A vacation becomes a gap. A resurfaced retreat clip becomes a receipt. And a tour replacement becomes a takeover. Even the small language choices get weaponized. Nothing is by coincidence. Because once people feel like they've spotted a long game, they start reading everything as intentional. So here's the final question I can't shake, and I want you to answer it in the comments without jumping to anything that isn't proven. If the leaked footage is being interpreted correctly by viewers, and if the overlap timeline people are alleging is even partially true, do you think this is mostly a messy personal situation colliding with public branding? Or do you think the real story is simply who benefits from Cabot being placed in Charlie's shadow after Charlie died?